Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about The Blob. And this movie is directed by Chuck Russell, the same director as A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors, which I didn't realize until I looked it up. And this is his second feature film that he directed. It came out directly after that movie, with this movie coming out in 1988, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3 coming out in 87. And then he also directed The Mask, which I haven't seen in a long time, but I remember enjoying that movie. And this is a film that I've never seen before. I was always curious about it, and I know it's a remake of some other Blob movie that I've never seen before, and I heard this one was supposed to be good. Apparently, Frank Darabont had some involvement in the screenplay, and that was my biggest draw to this movie also. I enjoyed this movie. I didn't think it was great or a masterpiece, but it was enjoyable for what it was. It was kind of somewhat of a dumb B horror movie that I probably wouldn't care about if there wasn't some level of care put into the movie. I didn't really feel scared or felt tension in any particular scene, except for a couple moments towards the beginning. It was like, yeah, towards the beginning it was being well set up, and there's some really great practical effects sprinkled throughout the movie that I really enjoyed, and the kills in this movie were fun. I liked those, and the movie overall didn't look terrible, although you could see some really obvious blue or green screens at points. And one of my criticisms with this movie is that there's too many close shots to where I can't see the location, and sometimes it's uncomfortable as to how close the shots are at points. But I was really enjoying the goofy tone of the movie, and that's really what kept me going. And it had the same girl from Saw. She was in this movie, and Shawnee Smith. She plays Amanda from the Saw series, which I didn't realize until looking it up afterwards. And there were some kind of funny comedic moments sprinkled throughout the movie that I kind of liked. And they're mostly towards the beginning. In the second half, it's played completely straight, I feel, unironically. Even if there are some over-the-top moments. But overall, there were parts of this movie that did remind me of The Thing from 1982, the John Carpenter film. And I was kind of reminded, yeah, that looks cool and all, but I would much also be rather watching The Thing, because I think it's a much better movie. To get into my issues, outside of too many close shots that were kind of distracting in this movie, there were plenty of side characters that had 5 to 10 minutes of screen time that I didn't really care about and found to be kind of somewhat annoying. And this movie is pretty short. It's like an hour and a half, but still. Despite that, there were some stuff that I feel could have been trimmed out of the movie. I also didn't really care for the music. I never once felt as though it was adding anything. It was just there, but it was kind of distracting, and there was nothing about it that made it stand out in a positive way, or a negative way particularly, outside of it just not really allowing me to feel tension or suspense in certain scenes, or just complementing what I was watching visually. It was just there, and they just threw in music because they felt as though they needed music for the pacing, and that's about it. And overall, I did like the first half better than the second half. I feel as though the second half is where things kind of drag for me, and I'm just not as invested in what's going on in the plot or where characters are going, and their decision making was kind of annoying at points. And overall, I was just like, yeah, I'm not really engaged with what's going on. And by the end of the film, I realized I didn't really take a lot of notes because there isn't really a whole lot for me to discuss with this movie other than I kind of liked it. There were parts of it that I enjoyed. I don't think I'll ever watch it again. Not because it was terrible. It's just like there are some scenes that I do like. And there's one really great death scene that I enjoyed. That was kind of fun. But most of the movie was not that. And I just left the movie kind of wondering, yeah, it just needed something else. Like, there's just that one thing that is, I guess, missing. Like, maybe I needed more compelling characters, or for things to be presented in a way that's a bit smarter, or have a much goofier tone, or like more entertaining characters to go along with it, or something like that, where this movie is kind of lacking in that department, I feel. And also a remake of The Blob. Sure, there's some fun things you can do with gore and practical effects, but beyond that, I'm just not really sure if there's a whole lot you can do with this concept. Like a blob that terrorizes people and kills them. I just feel as though there's only like so much you can do with that type of concept, and sure, you can get more creative with it, but I don't know, I'm just not imagining it right now. Who knows, maybe we'll get another remake at some point to prove me wrong, but as is, it's a good movie that I don't know if I need to rewatch. Maybe another time at some point if I get curious about it, but aside from that, it's kind of like a one and done situation, I feel. You watch it, you enjoy it, and then you just move on. So with all that being said, I'm going to give The Blob a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you thought of The Blob, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Mississippi Grind. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.